13.5 kilos of aluminium awesomeness. This is the stylish and capable Singer 319. In this video I will tell you a lot about this machine and also about its sibling, the Singer 320. The 320 is basically the same, but with a free arm. The 319s were built between 1956 and 1962. This 319K is from 1958. Don't be alarmed when you have a different letter. Being a 319K means the machine was made in Kilbowie, Scotland. I have a separate video on where a Singer may have been built. But first the need to know things. Let's talk about needles and bobbins. It is important to use the 206x13 needles only, also known as the SY2029 and HPX13. Do not use the standard class 15 needles, they will damage the bobbin case. The 206x13 needle sits with the flat side facing the rear of the machine. Speaking about bobbins, the 319 uses industrial 20U bobbins class L. Both bobbins and needles are still available. And now something about the system. The 319 has a rotating system similar to the class 201, only vertical instead of horizontally. A hook catches the loop of the thread and pulls it around the bobbin case to make a full rotation. One of the biggest selling points is the ability to use one of the 5 inbuilt patterns, or a combination. You can also use a cam. They are the same as the cams that came with the 306 and 328. But more on that later. To sew you need a top and bottom thread. Move the balance wheel on the rear until the take-up lever is in its lowest position. Remove the casing from underneath the sewing machine and pull the bobbin out of it. The 319 and the 320 were designed to wind the bobbin while sewing. In this example we wind the bobbin without the needle moving. To achieve that, turn the clutch plate on the rear a quarter turn to the left. Slide the 20U bobbin on this knob. The spool holding the thread stands on one of the 2 pillars. Pull the string to your left and behind this hook, below, right underneath this little guide wheel and towards the empty bobbin. Pull the thread through the hole and do not release it. Press the unit towards the balance wheel. The rubber wheel should make contact with the balance wheel. Start winding by pressing the foot pedal or by turning the hand crank. When the bobbin is full, this metal clip will disengage the unit. But you can flip the switch manually too when you think you are done. Do not forget to tighten the clutch plate on the rear a quarter turn to your right. Hold the bobbin case in your left hand and the winded bobbin in your right hand. The thread should travel towards you from below, clockwise. Put it in and hold it tight with a firm grip. Pull the thread through the groove and underneath the lower tension spring until the thread runs more freely. Put it back into the race. It has to snap into place. And now comes the threading of the 319. First, insert the 206x30 needle with the flat side facing the rear of the machine. The thread spool sits on top. Guide it to the left to this hook, then down and underneath the upper tension assembly. Let the thread sit between one of the 2 discs. It is vital to catch the spring like this. Left under this hook and then up. Through the hole of the thread take-up arm, right to left. Then down. Snap the thread behind the 2 hooks. The third and final hook is just above the needle. And finally through the needle from front to rear. Last phase is to pick up the bottom thread. Lift the foot. Now hold the upper thread and move the balance wheel for a full rotation. The upper thread will catch the lower thread, and now you're good to go. Some additional options and things you might want to know. A prominent feature are of course the keys on the rear of the fabulous 319. Do you want a straight stitch? All keys on the rear must be down. Also, the bottom handle on front should be lowered to the 0 position. The top lever is for the position of the needles, left, center or right. Most common is to leave it in the center position. Move 1 or 2 of the so-called piano keys up to use the pattern. This must be done only when the needle is up. And you must use the zigzag throat plate number 105291, not the straight stitch plate number 105295. Use the all-purpose foot for patterns number 105250. A lot of numbers. And now the fun part. It is also possible to combine multiple patterns, so there are numerous combinations. A maximum of 3 inbuilt patterns can be used at the same time, but not more than 3. For instance, a slightly ordinary zigzag can be achieved with the zigzag lever up and with a wider swing of the needle managed by the bottom lever between 1 and 5. Like stated before, you can also use one of the included 25 cams. Unscrew the cover plate, lefty-loosey, tighty-righty. Put the cam on the knob, screw the plate back on and lift the first piano key. On the pillar you can find the stitch length regulator. The lower half is the stitch length for normal sewing. The lower you set the handle, the wider the stitch length to only 6 stitches per inch. Near the middle is the tightest stitch, up to 25 stitches. The upper half is the same as the lower half, only for the reverse. Near the middle is the reverse for a tighter stitch length, and up is the back stitch for a wider mode. The knob on the left limits the movement of the handle we just talked about. By doing so, you can switch to the same stitch length but only in reverse, and back again. The 319 does have the ability to drop the feed dogs. There is a knob underneath the bed, but you can use this special plate too, part number 189632. Replace the plate if you want to sew without the feed dogs messing up your project. Last thing I want to address, you might want to maintain your machine. Use sewing machine oil and no WD-40. Everything that is made from metal needs oil. But do not oil the belt inside. Do not. What to oil? Remove the faceplate of the machine. Apply oil on everything that moves. The same goes for the underneath of the Singer 319. Of course, you don't forget the many oil holes on the machine itself. Download the manual for more information on how and where to oil this beauty. Apply sewing machine oil is essential for a smooth running sewing machine. Well, that was one of my longest videos. Did I miss anything? Please let me know in the comments below. Enjoy your 319. And if you haven't got one, go get one.